Please, arrest me. The little girl whispered, tears streaming down her dirt-stained face. The group of leather-clad bikers froze, unsure if they'd heard her right. One of them slowly removed his helmet, revealing soft eyes that didn't match his intimidating look. Sweetheart, why would you want us to arrest you? He asked. What happened next would shake every man's heart that day, and change all of their lives forever. This is a story about how a group of feared bikers found their purpose through the most innocent plea for help from a little girl who had lost everything. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll understand why these men broke every rule to do what was right. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon on a dusty highway just outside of town. The Iron Saints, a notorious biker brotherhood, were cruising back from a charity ride, something they did to help local kids in shelters. To outsiders, they looked wild, rough, and untouchable. But beneath the tattoos and roaring engines, they were men with stories, most of them trying to escape their own painful pasts. As they approached an old gas station, something caught the leader's eye. A tiny figure stood by the roadside, barefoot, trembling, and clutching a small stuffed bear. Her clothes were torn, her face smudged with tears. Jake, the leader, a man in his 40s with a scar running down his cheek, slowed down and signaled his group to stop. Dust swirled around their bikes as the engines quieted. The little girl stepped forward, eyes wide but fearless. Her voice cracked as she spoke. Please, are you the police? Can you arrest me? The bikers exchanged confused looks. Some chuckled nervously. Jake crouched down to her level. Sweetheart, we're not cops. Why would you want to be arrested? Her lips trembled as she whispered, because if I get arrested, they'll take me somewhere safe, right? Jake felt his stomach twist. Safe from who? He asked gently. The girl hesitated, then looked toward a small broken house across the road. The front door hung open. A man's voice echoed from inside, shouting angrily. She flinched at the sound. My stepdad, she whispered. He hurts me and my mom. Please, just take me away. For a moment, no one moved. These tough bikers, men who'd seen violence and pain, suddenly stood frozen by the raw innocence of that plea. Jake clenched his fists. He looked at his brothers, Mason, Rico, and Big Tom. Without a word, they knew what had to be done. Mason muttered, We can't just leave her here. Jake nodded. No. Not this time. As the stepfather stormed out of the house, yelling, Jake stepped between him and the girl. You've got something to say to her. Jake said coldly. You say it through me. The man sneered. Who the hell are you? Jake's eyes didn't blink. The last mistake you're ever gonna make. The tension broke when the man raised his hand. But before he could swing, Mason grabbed him, twisting his arm behind his back. The others closed in, forming a wall between him and the girl. They didn't hurt him, but they made sure he couldn't hurt anyone again that day. The girl clung to her teddy bear, sobbing quietly. Jake knelt beside her and said, You don't need to be arrested, sweetheart. You just need someone to protect you. And we're right here. For the first time in a long while, she smiled. A tiny, trembling smile that melted every biker's heart. The bikers took the girl and her mother to a nearby diner, a safe place run by one of Jake's old friends. The woman was bruised, exhausted, and barely able to speak. When she saw her daughter safe, she broke down in tears. I didn't know what to do, she cried. He threatened to kill us if we ever tried to leave. Jake reached across the table and said softly, You don't have to go back. Not ever. He called in favors from local officers who respected what the Iron Saints did for the community. Within an hour, the police had the man in custody. But that wasn't the end of it. The girl, whose name was Leela, refused to let go of Jake's leather vest as they waited outside. Are you sure I don't have to be arrested? She asked again. Jake smiled, tears glinting in his eyes. No, kiddo. You don't belong in a cell. You belong somewhere full of light. Somewhere you can be happy. She nodded slowly. Then, can I stay with the bikers? Everyone laughed softly, but Jake answered seriously. You're part of our family now. The Iron Saints always protect their own. A week passed. Jake and his crew helped Leela and her mom find a new place to live. They visited often, bringing food, fixing things around the house, and even helping Leela enroll in school again. One afternoon, as Jake got ready to ride out, Leela handed him a drawing. A picture of her standing beside the bikers, with big smiles and the words written in shaky letters. My heroes. Jake stared at it for a long time. For a man who'd lived most of his life running from his past, that simple drawing meant redemption. That night, he gathered his crew around the fire pit and said, "Boys, we've done a lot of rides, but today I realized something. Maybe our bikes aren't just for roads. Maybe they're for finding people who need a stand." The men nodded. Some wiped their eyes quietly. And from that day forward, every time the Iron Saints went on a ride, they carried a small patch on their jackets. A teddy bear with wings, in honor of Leela, the brave little girl who reminded them what true courage really looks like. Sometimes, heroes don't wear badges or capes. Sometimes, they wear leather jackets and carry scars from their past. But the real measure of a person isn't how tough they look. It's how soft their heart can still be. Leela's story reminds us that even in the darkest places, kindness can roar louder than fear. This is Limitless Truth, where faith in humanity is always restored.